I'm John Holloway. I'm a consultant CTO on the interim and fractional side. That means I go into kind of high growth kind of startups and help them with product engineering, help them towards their funding goals. So my experience, I started off as a software engineer, spent 10 years building kind of high scale systems here in Bristol, in Vancouver, Berlin and London as well. So I moved about a bit. And then I've basically started my own consultancy 3 years ago, and that's been it since. So I effectively help seed and Series A kind of funded companies get to the next funding round. So I will do a mixture of product management, cloud-based kind of architecture or re-architecture, and then transformation of the company from where they are to where they need to be for their next funding round. So I think finding the right people to communicate the idea to is the first thing. So investors only invest in what they actually understand. So if you're communicating a complex idea, you've got to be able to kind of do that effectively. That's the first thing. The second thing is actually cutting as many corners as you can when you're building your product to get it to market fast enough. And I think some people are scared by the amount of corners they need to cut, but doing that creatively, I think is perfect. And then picking a tech stack isn't necessarily just a technical decision. There's the economic side of it, so the ecosystem, how many developers there are, and actually hiring those people can be tougher in some ecosystems than others. Yeah, I think that's the majority of it it's London and the rest of the UK, and trying to find VCs outside London is super tough. So I think bridging that gap and having people who are based here, I know there are people who work for VCs based in Bristol, Cardiff and surrounding areas, having access to those people to kind of communicate and network with is imperative. Not networking and not having access to the right advisors and using them within your network is probably one of the top 5 reasons for startups failing. It's imperative, whether you're kind of an engineer or a product manager, you work in sales marketing, you have a good network and build your network. All those coffees count. Okay, so networking, I think we've touched on that, but that's imperative. Be conscious of the number of hours you work and how much you're putting in. Burnout is a massively kind of underrated and under-talked about thing, and I think throwing yourself and your life into the startup, do it with some caution.